Hello, everybody. So, I made a huge mistake and I meal prepped two meals during lunch today and was planning on saving half for dinner, but then I ate all of it and now I'm so tired. Just like completely overloaded on carbs, and I feel like I could lay down and sleep for like a million years. So I'm trying to film this video to kind of like perk myself up and not do that because but it's like so tempting right now to just like lay down and um pass away. Um yeah. But I wanted to oh gosh, I'm wearing like a hair clip and it's just not comfortable. I'm gonna take it down, but I'm gonna look crazy. Whatever. So I wanted to talk about a book that I finished recently, which is Horse Crazy by Gary Indiana. Um, which I was having a hard time with for a bit. Like I started it, I was really loving it in the beginning, and then towards the middle, I felt like it was getting a bit repetitive, and I was getting really annoyed with the characters. But then I like plowed through and ended up really liking it again as it approached the end. Um, but this is like my best friend James's like favorite book, and I can definitely see why. And I texted him like right after I finished, and I was like, I can see you writing something like this. Like it just smells like him. Like it's just so his style. And there's so many great things that I loved about it. I think I rated it a 4 stars on Goodreads. Yeah, so basically this book follows this character who's like in his mid 30s, this queer man. I actually don't know if he like ever find out about his name in the story, but he enters this very like toxic relationship with this super hot man called Gregory, who is like just such a complete psychopath and is like the worst boyfriend ever, and it just treats him really poorly. But our main character is like just continuously more and more obsessed with this guy, and it just kind of like throws his whole life into chaos. And yeah, it's the writing is amazing. Like it's so interior and we're like just really with the thoughts of this main character. And I think particularly the way that Gary Indiana writes about obsession and kind of like being stuck in our own habits and um like the way we put people on a pedestal is like really really just raw and cutting. Um, and it's like one of those books where it's not really about the plot, but it's just more about just staying with this one person and their like interior life. And it's also just a really good snapshot of like 70s New York art scene, which I'm always like a sucker for. Like they talk a lot about the downtown art scene in the West Village and like Lower East Side in the 70s. Like our main character is a writer and the annoying fucking boyfriend Gregory is a photographer, and all of the other characters that they interact with are artists of some sort. And I just love reading books that are set in New York because they talk about like, oh, like this guy's apartment is on Avenue C and like 10th, and I'm like, oh my god, I used to live near that area, and like I know the vibe of that place. So it's always just really a treat to read about New York and that kind of specificity. But yeah, I like I said, I was really loving the character's voice in the beginning. I was like, oh my god, like I'm really into this, and then he meets the guy Gregory, and then they continue into this really like annoying toxic relationship. And this character Gregory is like so whiny and annoying and just like not a good person, but also extremely self-pitying and a sociopath basically. So I think towards the middle of the book, when it just became like such a repetitive cycle of toxic behavior, like I was just like, oh, like you need to, like, I was just done. I was like over it, and I was like, okay, this character needs to break up with this guy because he's like a fucking psychopath and he's so fucking annoying. So I was just like kind of over this dynamic, but then things start kind of changing towards the last third of the book, and the writing style becomes a bit more fragmentary, and there's just some really, really beautiful passages. Let me see if I can find one to read to you guys. We leave the gallery laughing. Isn't it a relief that we're all still alive? Soho looks sleepy. The sun's shining. The buildings absorb a Hyperborean light that flattens against the street like a patina of dust, turning the black pavement blue. I decide I'm not going to die. The things that I'm afraid of are not going to get me. I'm going to grow old with equanimity and physical grace. And so this is another passage that kind of speaks more to the obsessive quality that runs through the entire book, and I think is like really the core of what Gary Indiana was trying to explore in the novel. I can't sleep. I decide to leave him. Even this dire part of the lover's vocabulary sounds absurd in this situation. You can't leave someone unless you're living with him. If I break this off, I'll go crazy, but if I wait, it will kill me. I'm living two distinct lives with Gregory. In one of them, things really happen as they do. I thrash the whole time against the wall of my longings. But in the other life proceeds on as dreams that can never materialize, since Gregory's strength consists of keeping them alive and slightly out of reach. This fantasy life has warped and buckled like a length of cardboard in a bathtub. I no longer picture happy endings. I know the twists and hairy turns aren't really part of some Baroque courting ritual. All this madness is what I'm going to have at the end, the same as the beginning. We are traveling exactly nowhere, away from the purring spell of his voice and the inexhaustible allure of his body. I feel madness brushing against my skin. My solitude has the fatal ugliness of wanting. Okay, so that's that. I feel like there was more things I was gonna say about this, but I don't know what they are anymore. But still really good, and I really, really enjoyed. I also finished reading this book yesterday, Peter Hujar's Day by Linda Rosenkrantz, which I picked up because there's a movie coming out that's based on this later this year, starring Ben Whishaw, my favorite fucking actor. And also I'm like, again, it's about the art world, or Peter Hujar, the main character in this very, very short, slim book, is a pretty well-known artist from that whole era of 70s New York artists. Yeah, he's like a pretty iconic figure in queer culture. I mentioned this in my last video, but he used to date this visual artist writer in the 70s. His name is David Wojnarowicz, who I'm a big fan of. But basically, this tiny book is just a transcript of a conversation that Peter had with his friend Linda, recounting the events from the day before. So Linda Rosenkrantz, the author of this book, was doing an art project where she was visiting her friends and recording them just talking about what they did in the previous day. And so this book is it's super short, a very quick read. It's only about 40 pages of text, and it's just him talking about his day. He just talks about like doing a photo shoot. I think he was photographing Allen Ginsberg, buying groceries, the friends that stopped by his apartment, going to like get Chinese takeout. I found it to be really lovely, and there's some really beautiful photographs too. Like this is Peter Hujar's loft in the 70s. This is a photo of Linda Rosenkrantz, the author. And I think, first of all, it's just a lovely snapshot into the friendship between Peter Hujar and Linda. He is like a queer man and she's a straight woman, and I feel like that's a lot of my own friendships in my personal life. So it's just like cool to see like a very accurate snapshot of a conversation between two good friends. And then also it's just, I found it to be very, very simple, but kind of very profound at the same time, because I've been thinking about this quite a lot recently, but it's like, you just live, days pass, and you just like forget everything that happens. So I think it's just nice to remember and to kind of like immortalize these mundane things. Like nothing in particular special happens in his day, but he's recounting like every single event with such detail, and I think that it's just good to look back and remember even like the simplest things, and remember like the people you talk to at the coffee shop, and the conversations that you have with your friends like over the phone, and just the people and the events that happen day to day just have this, they can still be made special, I think. And I think this book really captures that in a really lovely way. So yeah, I really loved it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie when it comes out. And then I am currently reading, I'm about halfway through, let me see if I can find it on Kindle. Oh, no. Napalm in the Heart by Paul Guasch, which I'm enjoying so far. Yeah, I'm only halfway through, so I don't really know what to say about it right now. I think this is translated from Catalan, so I'm assuming the author is from Spain. But the premise is it's very mysterious, actually. Like, you don't really know what's happened in this book. It's like some aftermath of some like apocalyptic scenario. Our main character is this young, I think, teenage boy who is you kind of piece together the story through letters that he writes to his lover and through kind of journal entries of what happens day to day. But yeah, it's quite dark, and there are some parts of it that are pretty graphic, and there's a lot of violence and just not fun things. Like, it's pretty heavy, which I enjoy. Like, I like heavy stuff. But I feel like after reading Horse Crazy, which was also like pretty intense, I'm kind of like wanting to read something lighter and more fun, like maybe something like a little like sexy, like I don't know. So I'm kind of like maybe wanting to take a break from reading this to read something new. But I am intending on finishing it because I am enjoying it so far. But yeah, and then last week, something really fun happened, which is I went to a Patti Smith book signing, which was so amazing. I went with my friend Ben, Benjamin Journal on YouTube, who you guys should follow and subscribe and do all of that. But I basically found out about the event through social media like an hour before it started, and so I literally leapt out of bed, like frantically texted Ben because we both love Patti Smith, and then we like rushed over to Chelsea to the gallery where she was doing the signing, and I was like so flustered on the way there, like my heart was pounding, like I felt like I was gonna throw up. I was like running after the bus, like just like so in a panic. And then I got there, Ben was already waiting in line, and I was like losing my mind in the line. And I brought two books for her to sign, M Train and Year of the Monkey, which I both really loved. And we met her, and she was so kind and sweet and so beautiful, and we like had a little chat, and yeah, she was just really lovely, and it was a great experience, and we were both like freaking the fuck out. But like I fucking love her so much, and she's like one of my biggest role models, I would say. Like I just love her writing, I love her music, I love the person she is and like what she stands for. And I just feel like she really is just like a light in the world, and I'm really happy to be alive in the same time as she is and like even get to meet her, which was like insane. I really want to go to her concert later this year, but it's fucking sold out already, so we'll see if that happens. But yeah, it was great. Me and Ben were like so happy. It was like such a cute moment. I'll see if I can like put a photo of us meeting her. Yeah, and I think just life updates. I've been really busy recently, weirdly. Like, I just have been doing a lot of things socially, and I've also been interviewing for jobs, which has been interesting. I've been unemployed for basically like a year. So it's really strange to try to like get back into that interviewing like corporate-y mindset. Like I've been interviewing for like some tech copywriting jobs, and it's just funny because I feel like I'm living like a Hannah Montana double life, like pretending to be so excited about corporate tech copywriting and fintech, but like also just really I don't care and I just need to make money. But yeah, that's been happening. Just trying to make life fun, you know, like trying to like keep things upbeat, keep things moving. But yeah, I think in general things have been good. And before I wrap things up, shameless plug. So if you didn't know already, I think I mentioned it in other videos, but if it's your first video of mine, hello, welcome. I'm also a writer. So I have one story coming out in an anthology collection of like eco horror that is coming out sometime in the next few months or so. And I really liked the story that I wrote for that. So yeah, maybe I'll post like my Substack with the story before it's edited. If you guys are interested in reading. And yeah, the weather is finally kind of warming up in New York, which I'm hoping that it will continue to get warmer because I'm fucking over being a fucking popsicle. But yeah, see you in the next video. Bye. I don't know what to say anymore. Bye. We leave the gallery laughing. Isn't it a relief that we're all still alive? Soho looks sleepy. The sun's shining. The buildings absorb a Hyperborean. I cannot. Okay, I'm gonna start over. We leave the gallery laughing. We leave the gallery laughing. Isn't it a relief that we're all still alive? Soho looks sleepy. The sun's shining. The buildings absorb a Hyperborean light. Hyper